Welcome to Parenting Talk. I'm Coach Saul, and today our topic is single parenting as a father. Today I got a special life coach. He's a mentor of mentors. He's a coach of coaches, and he's just a great guy overall, and he happens to be a single father. So I asked him to come on today, and let's talk about single parenting as a father. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to Stevie and have him introduce himself. And go ahead, Stevie. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi there. Yeah, thanks for having me on here, Donnie. My name is Stevie Mills, and I am from Fife in Scotland. Other side of the pond from Donnie, who's in Florida. So I guess what do I do? Well, I am a community builder. I love community. I love to build community. I love to coach, mentor coaches, practitioners, and help them to become themselves, help them to share their voice and to become effective at what they do. So they become competent, so they can in turn be confident before going into the real world. And it's in a community context through training triads, through facilitating, opportunities to practice and hone their skills, and many other things within the ecology. And also, one of our other projects is looking to work with men and help single fathers become more effective as they parent. Because I know that transition from leaving your partner and becoming a single father is not easy by any shape or form.
All right, super. Well, that's going to lead us right into the first question. I've got 5 questions for you. And let's talk about single parenting for a moment here. What thoughts and feelings did you have about single parenting prior to going through this experience? Or in other words, what preconceived notions did you have about being a single parent?
Good question. First and foremost, it was quite daunting. It's a big challenge, how am I going to do this on my own? Am I going to be a good enough parent? Another thing that really got to me was I'm not going to see my daughter as much. The time element, I'm going to lose time. I'm not going to be able to put her to bed every night because I'm only going to get certain access. And, me personally, I co-parent, so it's 50% of the time every week I have her. But even then, there's times that, am I using that time effectively to be the most available father and to be aware of how we're spending that quality time? So it's the time I have has always been, is there enough? Am I going to get enough time with her to make an impact and actually be a strong father role model for her, for my daughter? So these are all, I guess, notions when I first became a single parent was, how am I going to do this on my own? Am I going to be a good father, or what happens if my ex-partner goes on to meet another man and the other man may become a father, he may do better than me. So there's always these doubts in your mind that, am I doing the right thing? I'm breaking a family up. I felt a bit guilty at first, a bit shame going on. Like, have I done the right thing here? It's always hard to break, something up. And what's this going to come at the cost of with the relationship, not only with the father-daughter, but the relationship with the mother-daughter and how the mother and father communicate for the better of the child. And I'm fortunate that myself and my ex-partner, Donna, we get on well and we communicate a lot and we work together and we compromise, and we've got different parenting styles, but we work as best we can with balance to give Ivana the best experience as parents. It's I had to put all these notions aside and actually think, it's not about me. It's about that little girl. She deserves a father. She deserves a mature man, a consistent man. She deserves someone that's willing to put her before my own thoughts or my own insecurities.
Let me ask you, how difficult was it to move from, the real subjective experience? I mean, everything that you said early on, I relate to because I went through a divorce myself. How am I going to do? How am I? And it's really all about me at that point, right? But then you transition and you say, how is this going to impact her, right? That's what you're thinking of. How difficult was it to move from, this is happening to me to this is also happening to her, and how can I do what I need to do to move from being, I guess, selfish is one way to look at it, to really doing the right thing as far as a father?
Yeah, I mean, initially I was very selfish. I was looking at my needs and my thoughts, and how am I going to survive, and and not taking responsibility for my life. So I was selfish. A bit of time to be aware of that and to actually think, it's now I can only base this on how my father was for me. My father wasn't there. He never cared. My father didn't really show up. He really, I didn't speak to him for 17 years, but because of what happened. I'm going to speak honestly here. He lost a lot of trust and he sexually harassed my sister, which was quite a raw thing to happen in the family, and it took me years to forgive him. And that driven me more now to be a better father, because not knowing that my father didn't turn up helps me to turn up, to show up, to be a father, to love unconditionally, and to really take the focus off me and focus on my daughter. Now, how did that transition? It's very difficult, but the driver for me was the experience I had. The biggest driver, the question I asked every day was, how much am I willing to be like my father?
Mm.
Or am I willing to be a better father? Am I willing to be the father that I never had? And that's the perspective I came from every day, in order for me to put everything aside and my selfish motives and my thoughts and just me thinking about me. That was the driver, and it helped me more to be consistent. And it's the most important role in my life. Before making money, before work, the most important role in my life is being available and giving my daughter time. And I'm always aware of this.
That is a very, very powerful transition where you said some key words. You became available. You became aware. You started looking at the model that you had, and that wasn't satisfactory for you. And you have to, what are you going to do? That's your model. Your dad's the model. Not a good model. It's not the model that you want to replicate. Where are you going to go to find what it is that you want to represent? So that journey is empowering, right?
Yes, very much so. And it's not an easy one, but I think it's easier knowing what you've had before, how you can turn your negative experience into a positive experience, and how you can turn what's happened to you. That becomes a bigger motivator and a bigger driver than anything else. That becomes like my why as a father. That becomes why I show up every week and I'm available, because my dad wasn't for me. And it's as simple as that. It's not, doesn't have to be any complex. It's just, that's based on my experience.
Well, super. That's a great lesson for anybody that's out there watching this. You don't have to rely on whatever bad experience you have and repeat that bad experience, you can use that bad experience as an example of what not to be, and then go for something other than what you've experienced. And Stevie Mills, that's the choice you made, and it sounds like it's working out. I do want to ask you about your relationship with your daughter, the separation, the divorce, this whole process. How did that impact your relationship with your daughter?
In a short answer, it probably strengthened it.
Oh.
Because the time that I get with her is more quality, and I'm forced more to give her that quality time when I do have the time with her. So it becomes more a priority to be available. It becomes more priority to spend quality time, to give her gifts, to help her remember her father for the times that she spent with her. So it strengthened it, although at first I thought it weakened it, because just based on my thoughts and but there was at times at the start that because I was selfish, I wasn't giving her the time that she deserved. So initially it could have, I'm lucky that my daughter's young, but even then she's only 2-3 when we first separated. And I was always aware that it's the first 5 years that they pick up and their beliefs and about themselves, and I wasn't perfect, because when the first couple of months after the breakup, I was too caught up in myself, and and sometimes doing things and dismissing her and letting her play herself and on my phone, and I was even drinking with my own daughter on an evening because I was too caught up in my own stuff and my own self. And that came at the cost. That could have, if I wasn't aware and changed that, and that could come at the cost, And now I choose not to drink when I've got my daughter. It's a standard. I choose not to drink any alcohol whatsoever in front of my daughter, because I don't want her to think that I was putting that before her.
Right.
But initially I did. So the relationship is not perfect, but it's growing over time. And I like to think that, especially recently, that she knows I'm there. I speak to her daily. I was on the phone to her just before I jumped on here. That's why I was slightly delayed, because, I wasn't putting her off, because if she phones, then I'm available and tell her about her day. And it's so important just to speak when you can and reassure them that you're there, and reassure them that you've got their back, and tell them that you love them. Words of affirmations are so powerful. Tell them that they're beautiful, they're amazing, they're courageous, they're brave. Because I never got these words when I was growing up. So I do my best to really empower.
So it sounds like the divorce and the separation in some ways kind of shook you up and made you focus on really what's important in your life. And obviously your daughter was important enough in your life where you say, I'm not going to drink in front of her. I'm not going to just be focused on my own things. I'm going to be that dad that I never had for me. I want to be that dad for her. Yeah. So the whole process, when I went through it, was different degrees of struggles. So I want to throw this question at you. What struggles did you have that would, let's just get with one or two that you would say were the most challenging, or maybe they still are challenging?
One thing for me is balance, all right? As when you're a single parent and you've got your child half the week, you're starting to do school runs, and when my daughter wasn't at school, I had her from Saturday to Tuesday. She was only in nursery for a couple of hours, so I had her the rest of the day, so I could not work when I had her. Or, I didn't want to work because I wanted to spend the time with my daughter. So it's finding the balance of, working, building business, as well as being a parent and, paying the bills and your your responsibilities within the household, and so that leads on to the next challenge for me was financially. I wasn't taking responsibility for my finances, and it come at the cost of how I was parenting for my daughter, because I was stressed, worried about how I go about taking responsibility and paying the bills. So the biggest struggle initially for me was striking that balance where I can give her my time without having to worry about anything else going on. And the second one was really trying to build a business on your own as a single parent. It's not easy, but it can be achievable. It's just managing your time and working all out in the best way you can. But as long as your priorities remain the same, like for my priorities, number one's my daughter, then second is my business, not the other way around.
Right.
And I know a lot in culture today, more people are focused on building businesses and working rather than giving their children the quality time. And that, it came at the cost for a small period where I didn't really get time to generate or build business or bring an income in. But through time, it's just working that balance out and putting better structure and habits in place and systems that you in your day that you work to maximize the time you don't have with your daughter in the best way that you can. So that's probably the biggest struggles that I come up against. But today, I feel that's getting better. There's still room for improvement, but it's just prioritizing and working out what's the best way. And now she's at school, it's different. It's very hard at a young age, but now that at school, then there's more routine and there's a better structure going on now. But yeah, so that was probably the biggest areas for me as a single dad or a single parent.
So you would say just general life balance, but in particular for you were finances and getting your business up and going and trying to have some kind of structure in place to make all that happen.
Yeah, and then obviously connections and socializing on top of that, which for me, I've not really had much opportunity to, because the time I've not got my daughter, I've been working hard in community, building community. It's been the last 18 months of doing that. So I've not really had time to even think about, socializing or going out and, or holidays, because I'm always focused on the priorities, the purpose of the community and my daughter. Because community for me starts from my daughter. If I'm not being a father at home, then how can I promote community? How can I build community if I'm not, installing community in the context of my house?
Right. You have to walk the talk, right? You can't just be talking it and not exemplifying it yourself.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a little bit with your answer what it is that you have done to resolve some of these struggles. Is there anything more or any ideas that you could present that might be solution-based for people who have the challenges that you mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, one of the first things I would say would be patience. Have patience. It's going to take time. To get the right balance and get the right order in place as a single parent, it's daunting, but if you can go over that and be patient, that things will work out. Be patient with the other half, the ex-partner. Be patient with the process of working together to work out what's best for your child. Because the minute you react or get frustrated or get caught up in stress, it can make things worse. And you could react the wrong way, and the ex-partner may take it the wrong way, and that could create conflict within the process of. I guess I'm talking more about the process of the early days, but going forward, it's patience with the balance. because that doesn't happen overnight. You need time to get the right structure in place. It's trial and error. It's being flexible in your approach to having that balance of spending time with your daughter and, you know, having the time to work and pay your bills and business and develop other relationships,
Right.
As well. So patience, managing your expectations is another good thing I would say, is manage your expectations and with your ex-partner. Work with them for the best of thinking with your daughter's needs rather than yours or your daughter's mother's. So it's managing their expectations, but also managing the expectations of your child. So, Daddy, why can't you? One of the questions I got asked recently was, Daddy, why are you not living with us?
Mm.
It's a very tough question to ask if I answer a 5-year-old. You know, and it's managing the expectations. Because if you manage your expectations, then you're more likely not to get disappointed or frustrated if something else was to happen, or you know, and it's about offering maybe grace at times, because there's probably times the mother's frustrated how she parents, but sometimes extend that grace and being patient and managing our expectations, that, and we can only control how we parent when we have our child. We can't control how the mother will parent. We can't. So we can get frustrated and say, oh, that's not the right way to be a mum. That's not the right way. You shouldn't have done that. But, or we could, you know, show our child an example of, you know, what we see as the best way to father by being consistent, mature, and available. And so, yeah, manage expectations, patience, extending a bit of grace at times. Children, they should come first. Children come first. If they're not coming first in life, then please check your priorities, check your motives, check, you know, your children comes before anything. So no matter what, you know, that should be the top of your priority. As you know, I got asked a question a couple of years ago. What makes you alive? What do you love the most about life? And you know, the biggest privilege in my life, and that the way I answered that question was being a father. It was the biggest calling I could ever have. Being a father and being, you know, ask another question, how do you want to be remembered? By being a loving father. Now, these are just nice words, yes, but unless you're living it and actually, you know, actions speak louder than words. If you're loving, then you'll make yourself available. You'll put your own selfish preferences aside and not go to the pub and actually spend the night watching a movie with your daughter. Or you'll give her your time, or you'll take time out of your day to phone her or speak to her. Because you can't underestimate how a phone call can actually just make the difference. Small words. You know, just saying you love them is not enough sometimes. It's the actions that we take. And it's just checking our priorities all the time.
I think that's fantastic advice, super solutions. Check your priorities, be patient, limit your expectations, and manage, you know, being able to manage, what was the other thing you said? Manage
Manage expectations and extend grace sometimes.
Grace. That was, yeah, so important. Very important. You know, be kind to people and just extend grace. Super advice. We're going to wrap this up, but before we go, if people want to get more information about this topic, or just, you know, reach out to you and talk about these other initiatives that you got going, how could they go about doing that?
Probably the best place to see me these days, as you'll know, Donnie, is within Ecology. Within the Ecology platform, you can reach me through that platform if you register, or through the Facebook group PMP. I'm always in there and around there doing things, and, you know, or you could go through my Facebook page, which is Stevie Mills Coaching. I still have a Facebook page so people can connect with me through that. But most of the time, I'm within Ecology. and the professional level will be coming out very, very soon. So if anybody wants to find out more about what we're doing within ecology, within what we're doing to support parenting as well, I'll be working with Donnie on projects I'm sure going forward, and we'll be looking to help people when it comes to parenting and to become the most effective parents that they can be. We will help hopefully provide solutions to some of the challenges that you may come across. And we're not just talking, we're talking from experience, which I think helps. And there's loads of other experienced parents in there too that can offer so much different perspective. And it's all community centered. It's community. That's probably the biggest thing. Is it takes a community, or I remember hearing a saying actually about 6 months ago, it takes a village to bring up a child. It takes sometimes you need a village to bring up a child. So the more support you've got, the better. So within ecology, there's so much support from other like-minded single parents that just want to become better and grow as a parent. And there may be perspectives that can help you. Like I say, it sometimes can take a village to bring up a child.
I love it, Stevie. That's a great way to end this. You're absolutely right. And within the village, we need to talk to each other, right? It's all about talking. That's what this whole project's about, parenting talk. We got to talk to each other. We got to share our knowledge, share our experience, help each other out. It does take a village. And if you like what we've been talking about, please comment below. We can keep the conversation going that way. And if you have interest in future parenting talk videos and you want a topic of interest, you can put that below too, or you can reach out and contact me. I'm in ecology along with Stevie Mills, or you can reach out and find me on my Facebook page, which is Star Family Coaching. That's the same for my website, or you can even email me at starfamilycoaching@gmail.com. Okay, people, let's empower one another by keeping the talk going. This is another episode of Parenting Talk. Until next time, farewell, my friends.